Hey everybody, come on in. It's Conspiracy Theories and Chill. We're gonna hang out, talk conspiracies. So stop on by. I'm gonna play our theme song or a little bit of it. So hey, invite your friends. Come on in, get ready. Think about what you want to talk about because this is a participation show. So after we get done, I'm gonna talk a little bit, and after I get done, I'm gonna look through your comments and see what you guys want to talk about, and that's what we're gonna spend the rest of the show doing. So feel free to comment. I want you to. I want you to participate. That's what we do on this show. We talk back and forth. The more comments there are, the longer the show will be. So come on in. We'll start here in a minute. I got a few things I'm going to talk about. Hopefully you guys got a few things you want to talk about. And we'll hang out and talk conspiracies. I can't play too much Mr. Crowley or they'll mute the show. I got to be careful. I don't know what the limit of Mr. Crowley is. You know what I mean? I just know that too much Mr. Crowley gets the show muted. So this is Conspiracy Theories and Chill. And what we do on this show is we just talk conspiracies. And I usually play a video. I usually have a video that I've made for you guys when we do one of these. And I play that for you. And then after we talk about the video and we talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Well, tonight I don't have a video. There's been so much going on conspiracy-wise lately, and you know what I'm talking about. I'll get into it in a minute. There was just too much to have made a video yet. You know, I do have a job, unfortunately. If I didn't have that pesky job, I would have so much more time to make videos. I wish I had all the time in the world to do this. But I'm going to put out a video on the MAGA bomber for sure, and maybe the synagogue shooter later on this week. So look for that on my YouTube channel, Me on Things and Stuff. There was my plug. I'm going to get the show up here on my page so that I can share it to some people. I want to share it to a few groups and get some people in here. So let me do that now. So if you're just getting here, go ahead and share the show. And want to get a bunch of people here so we can have a real good conversation about conspiracies. And hang out and just kick conspiracies around. So I got nobody here right now. I'm going to share it a few more times. Let's see. Let's share it around. I'll share it. Let's see. The magic number, let's say the magic number is 7 times. All right. So I shared it around. We'll go ahead and just get into it because a lot of times I do these and there's no one here for the show because I don't really know when to do them, honestly, to be honest with you. And I can't make a schedule for them, which makes it hard to build a viewership. And so what I do is I leave them up and I won't take them down. And I also go back in and rewatch them many times just to improve on my own, you know, I'm trying to be professional here. So to get better, I watch them over and over again. So I'll reply to your comments if you come late on. So you can still talk about whatever conspiracy you want, and I will reply to you. Plus, it'll give me stuff to talk about in future shows. So feel free to comment, whether you're here late or not. But this is Conspiracy Theories and Chill. My name is Sean, and what we're going to do is talk about a few current events that have been going on. Because, hi, Karen. Because it'd be silly not to go ahead and address it. It's the elephants in the room. And then we can talk about whatever you guys want. We can talk more on the ones I'm going to bring up, or we can talk about anything you'd like. So comment at any point, something you want to talk about. I'm going to start with the MAGA bomber. And for all these people, because I'm also going to talk about that synagogue shooter, for all these people, I don't care if I get their name right. I didn't put any time into getting their name right. I really don't care. Cesar Sayak is the MAGA bomber's name. They have already identified him. They've already caught him. Yes, that fast. If you haven't been following the story, yes, they already have the MAGA bomber. He sent out 14 bombs, killed no one. Not one bomb exploded, or, well, they say they exploded the bomb at George Soros's house. So they say that that one was a functioning bomb. I haven't seen any reports that they've detonated any of the others, or even officially said that they were bombs. You know, most of them, you hear reports that they were suspicious packages. I think Karen asked if I thought it was a false flag. I think it's a psyop against the American people. And so, yes, a false flag in the sense that not really a false flag, more of a psyop. I feel like Cesar is a patsy. I feel like that van is very suspicious. Now, if I'm a bomber and I've decided I want to send bombs to these 14 targets or however many his complete list was, you know, and I'm going to drive around and do it and hand deliver them, because these packages had to have been hand delivered. They had postage on them, but they didn't have any postage stamps from the post office, the postal stampage, you know, where they stamp your package when they post to the mail. None of that. So these were all hand delivered, or had to be. And he did that all in this van, covered, literally covered. I wish I had put a slide of it in the slideshow, but literally covered in Breitbart, Fox News, Alex Jones type stuff. And with targets all over these people that he had sent bombs to, like Joe Biden, Obama, the Clintons. There was one with Jill Stein had a target on her. Who knows if she would have been a future target for these bombs. What I'm saying is, I think that he's a patsy. I think the van is part of him being a patsy. I don't think that anybody that's really trying to blow up 14 or 15 people and has a list and has decided to do this is driving around in that van trying to be inconspicuous. That's ridiculous. Or I don't believe the other side of it either, you know, because you could say, and you will say, that he's a crazy person. And of course, a crazy person would go ahead and do that. And yeah, a crazy person might get lucky, but to have hand delivered 14 bombs or suspicious packages to their destinations, only a couple misdirected, like one misdirected and went back to Debbie Wasserman Schultz, because he listed her as the return address on a lot of these packages. So one went to Debbie Wasserman Schultz in that way. But he got his bombs to most of his targets in that van in what, like a few days stretch? You know, the Clintons and Soros live 15 minutes apart, but the rest of them, those were states apart. You know, he sent a bomb to Robert De Niro's restaurant. He sent bombs to Maxine Waters, all these different people. How did he do all this on his own so quickly in that van? That's what they want you to believe, that he drove the MAGA van, the most conspicuous vehicle he could possibly have chosen. He drove the MAGA van all around the country delivering bombs by himself. That's what they want you to believe. I don't believe that. I believe that it was a conspiracy, which are real, a conspiracy to dupe the American people. I believe it was a psyop. And those bombs, at least the ones that they've shown, the packages and the bombs themselves, it just looks so staged and fake. It doesn't look like a madman who was trying to kill people. It looks like somebody did this as a show, you know? And then they set this guy Caesar up and painted him as the patsy, you know? And I'm not saying he didn't maybe have a hand in it. A lot of times they do, you know, they'll groom these people. MK Ultra is a real program. Go ahead and look that up. And I believe that never stopped. Why would they stop? MK Ultra still goes on to this day. I'm 100% convinced of it. I can't prove it, but you can't convince me otherwise. I don't believe that they stopped that program. I don't believe they'd have any intention of ever stopping that program. Why would they? You know, and I believe patsies are used a lot. Another thing that's interesting about the MAGA bomber, I wrote this down because I really wanted to get it right. But why do we know so much about the MAGA bomber so soon? We know all kinds of stuff about the MAGA bomber right away. You've been flooded with MAGA bomber information. But we still don't know very much about Stephen Paddock, the shooter in Las Vegas at the Mandalay Bay. That story just got swept under the rug. You don't hear nothing about that no more. And you really didn't hear much about it for very long when it happened. That was the largest shooting in American history. The largest mass shooting. Hold on. Hold on, guys. Something's going on my end. I don't know if you're still hearing this. I'm trying to... Welcome back, guys. I'm sorry about that. You know, that happens a lot. And I don't believe it's on accident. They squash this kind of speech. You know, these kind of shows, this kind of speech, they'll shut me down. People can say I'm paranoid for thinking that, but if you do, you're not paying attention to what's actually going on. Because they are shutting down this kind of speech. It will eventually be impossible to speak out against the establishment. And we need to be afraid of that possibility. We really do. But I'm sharing this again. If you just got back, please share. And I want to get as many people here as we possibly can. Because, hey, if they don't want us talking about this, then I want to talk about it even more. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I feel about it. So I'm going to give people time to get back in here. And while we're doing that, I'll get back to what I was talking about, which was the MAGA bomber and how I believe it was a psyop. And it is a psyop. Not that it didn't happen, but I don't believe Caesar Sayak acted alone. I believe he's a patsy. I'm not believing that van traveled across the country delivering bombs without being noticed. Only once, so somebody could post a picture to Twitter. Never pulled over or stopped for suspicious activity, not once, ever, delivering bombs to people with Secret Service protection in that vehicle. It's not believable. I don't buy it. And, you know, the list of people stinks of bullshit. It's, if you think about it, it's all the ones that have been the most vocal in bashing Trump, including Robert De Niro. I've had people tell me that Robert De Niro is the wild card that makes it a crazy person instead of a, you know, weird conspiracy. That person would probably only admit that it was weird, but, you know, wink, wink, something could be going on here. But with Robert De Niro, it makes it official. Now, I don't think that's true. I think Robert De Niro fits perfectly. Robert De Niro's been very vocal against Trump. I'm hot. I'm going to take my shirt off real quick. You probably thought that was going to be sexier than it ended up being, didn't you? Well, anywho, if you're just getting here, this is Conspiracy Theories and Chill. We had to start a new feed because the last one crashed out. So hopefully you're back. with us, but I noticed that nobody is. So I'm going to share it a bunch more times because I cannot find, I'm having the worst, well, I should say it this way. I'm having the worst luck picking times to do these shows. And I have such a bad work schedule. I don't know if you have a job like that, where you have like a swing shift type of job where you never really know from day to day what you're going to be working. Well, I kind of have a job like that. And that sometimes sucks. Sometimes it's cool because it allows you more flexibility usually, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But a lot of times like this, when you want to schedule an event like a show, it kind of sucks because you can't schedule anything around your schedule when you don't know what your schedule is going to be. I'm going to share this a couple times, and then we'll just keep going. I'll just push through. I'll pretend that there's people here because we leave these up, and you can comment if you come late. I still watch these. I watch them to improve on the show because I want to do a good show for you guys. So I watch them to try to get better. And I'll reply to your comments. Plus, whatever you say on there is going to give me ideas for later future shows. So let's see. We talked about the MAGA bomber. Let's talk a little bit about this synagogue shooter. There was a shooting at a synagogue in Pittsburgh, I want to say. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong there, but it was 11 people were killed. This man, again, I don't care if I get his name right. It's not important to me. Robert Bowers went into a synagogue and shot it up and had a long shootout with police. Somehow was taken alive. And, you know, they say they'll seek the death penalty and all that. And, you know, they've released information about him. At first the media was trying to paint it that, oh, this guy went in and killed these Jews because of Donald Trump. Well, it turns out that he hated Donald Trump and considered him a globalist and held him responsible for the influx of Jews coming into this country. Huh. All right. Third try. Let's do it this way. Third try. This is Conspiracy Theories and Chill. I keep crashing. So we're going to try it one more time. And this time we're coming from my page. And I crashed twice coming from our usual home on politics and stuff. And the definition of insanity is to do something over and over again, expecting different results. So for the third try, I'm trying it from my own personal page, and I'll share it to politics and stuff. If you're here, I apologize profusely for the fact that this is the third time I've had to do this. If you've been watching any of the other feeds, thank you for putting up with that. And I do know why they're crashing. I do know. The type of speech that we do on this show is not popular speech. And popular speech is what needs to be protected. So please support independent journalism. So let me share this. I'm going to share it to a few places and probably get banned from these groups for sharing too much because I've been sharing a lot. But, you know. All right. So this is Conspiracy Theories and Chill. I'm Sean. What this is a participation show. I'm going to talk about some things, and then you guys can comment whenever you want. Any conspiracies you want to talk about, whether it's what I'm discussing or something else, could be totally off topic. I'm pretty well versed in a lot of conspiracies, so go ahead and talk about anything you'd like. The more comments we get, the longer the show goes on. Hey, Jeff, glad to see you could join us. Just so you guys know, I'm going to give you fair warning going in. This is my third attempt at doing this show tonight. I've crashed twice already. So, and I noticed both times I was talking about the MAGA bomber. I think I was talking about the MAGA bomber the second time. I'm not positive. I lose track sometimes. But the first time I was definitely talking about the MAGA bomber and how I believe that the MAGA bomber is a psyop against the American people to get sympathy for the Democrats and to get them to vote against the Republicans to scare them. I believe that it happened. I believe these people got these packages, but Caesar Sayoc, or however you say his name, I really don't care how you say his name out. It's not worth getting correct. I think he's just a patsy. You know, I'm not buying that he drove that van around the country. Hey, Gary, I'm not buying that he drove that van around the country delivering bombs. And he was able to do that to 14 different people so far apart in such a short period of time. As the person they're painting him to be. You know, they're painting him to be this batshit crazy Trump supporter who went off his wagon after a bunch of nasty Facebook and social media posts and, you know, went out and decided to start mailing out bombs and kill these Democrats off. You know, first off, who mails bombs to people that don't open their own mail? How much sense does that make? You mailing bombs to people with security and assistants and staff that open their mail for them. You know, and who doesn't know that? And then not one of these devices reached their intended target, not one. So that's odd as well. Not one of them got through, not one of them killed anybody. There was a bomber just recently in, was it Texas? And wasn't 5 people killed by that bomber? So this guy was either very inept, but prolific. He got a lot of bombs out there, but they say they detonated one of them. As far as I know, they only detonated one of them, the one at George Soros's house. And they say it worked, that the detonator worked and everything. It was a functioning bomb. But I don't know that they've detonated any of the rest of these. I'm not sure. But I didn't crash that time. So that's what I think about the MAGA bomber. I could go more into depth. I did in the first 2 feeds. Like I said, this is the 3rd go of this show tonight. So if you're here from any of the first 2 feeds where we crashed, I apologize. I'm sorry for that. So let me see what you guys are saying. Robert says we just might be seeing the end of the Democratic Party here. It's very possible that you're right. We're going to find out. I know they're not getting the message. Well, I don't believe they're not getting the message. They don't want to hear the message. They don't want to pay attention to what their base really wants. They want to please their donors. Well, you can't please your donors and your base at the same time when your base is the American people, or supposed to be the American people. Because the American people don't want the same things that your rich corporate donors want. So you're representing your corporate donors. Just like Republicans, you just have different donors. They're all the same. The Republicans just have different ways of going about what they're doing. And really, I think it's theater. A lot of politics is. It's a corrupt system, no doubt. But I think it's theater. I think it's a lot like wrestling. You have your characters and their storylines. Like the Republicans go after Social Security. They're always the boogeyman that's going to get your Social Security. And then Democrats seem to be anyway, or are currently the corporation of the elite and the bankers. And the Republicans are your boogeyman. And sometimes the bad guy wins and sometimes the good guy wins. And it's just all, show. But at the same time, don't think I'm in support of voter apathy, because you got to participate in the system. I'm not saying the system isn't rigged, but we've got to participate in it. Otherwise, what else are we going to do? We're going to join up and revolt, because that's the only other option. You either have to use their rigged system, which can be defeated by our unity, which is a massive task to try to unify the American people. We are so divided. But I refused to give up without a fight. So I'm going to go down kicking and screaming and trying to wake people up, and wake as many people as I can up and get us united. That's going to be my whole purpose until this is over. I don't want to have to tell my kids I was silent. Silence is consent, and I don't consent to what's going on around me. So I have to do something. And the least I can do is raise awareness. So that's what I'm going to do. Let me see what you guys have been doing, what you guys have been talking about. Jeff said he got hell for saying MAGA bomber was a psyop. Didn't change my mind. I might get hell for it too, but I believe it's a psyop, and I believe Caesar Sayoc is a MK Ultra type patsy. I believe MK Ultra as a program is alive and well. I don't think there's any reason to believe that they would have ever really stopped doing MK Ultra. It just went underground into Black Ops. They just don't tell you about it. They say they stopped, and they do it under the classified programs. Hey, Steve. Gary says that's why pushing for Bernie Sanders and other progressive Democrats candidates. Yes, that's what I agree with, is you need to participate in the system. Vote against these corporate whores. Like in my state, for example, Claire McCaskill is up for re-election. I'm voting Republican for the first time ever. I'm voting for Josh Hawley because I might as well have a Republican senator, because I do currently. Claire McCaskill's a Republican. She always votes with the Republicans. Look at her record. And she had a large role in denying Bernie Sanders his rightful place as the Democratic nominee, which I won't forgive her for either. Matter of fact, every time I got a mailer in the mail to send her a donation, which I got about 3 during her campaign this year, I sent her 27 cents each time and a whole stack of postcards about how Bernie would have won. You know, and I'm going to vote for Josh Hawley. I don't like Josh Hawley. I just know I don't like Claire McCaskill. And if I'm going to have someone voting Republican from my state, let it be a Republican. Let's give him a shot. I've seen what McCaskill's capable of. Let's see what Josh does. We can vote against Josh next election. Torsten says, so who do I support for a Republican? I don't honestly support any Republican. What I'm saying is I can see voting against establishment Democrats because they're the same thing as a Republican. You know, you can go with the Green Party as well, which is always an option. But in my situation, it wouldn't be the smartest option because I want to unseat Claire McCaskill. I want her gone. So I want Josh Hawley to win only because I want Claire McCaskill to lose. And Claire McCaskill's our senator, but we're usually a red state. So Josh Hawley's got a chance at unseating her, even though Claire McCaskill has held that seat for a long time. But I would love to see her lose it. And I'll vote for Republican to see it happen. Another thing my site crashed, or my feed crashed on when I was talking about tonight, was the synagogue shooter. So I'll talk about that a little more since it got cut off earlier. Okay, again, I don't care if I get his name right. They don't deserve for you to get their names right. Robert Bowers, okay, went into a synagogue in Pittsburgh, I believe, with an assault rifle and 3 pistols and killed 11 people in cold blood. Went on to have a long shootout with police, ended up shooting at least 2 that I've heard of, not fatally, 1 in the hand. And I'm not sure where the other was hit, but neither fatally. And they took him alive, of course. Guess what color he was? I'll give you 5 guesses. Gary says third party will never win. That's true. But I would never shame somebody for voting third party. If that's where your values lie and that's where you want to vote, vote third party. You know, but please participate in the other parts of the ballot, like bills and, you know, things that are up for other things that are up for vote. But if you want to vote Green Party for your Senate choice, support your Green Party. That's the only way change ever happens, is from the bottom up. So I would never shame somebody for wanting to vote for the Green Party. I myself wouldn't vote for the Green Party for the same reason Gary said. Or I did vote for the Green Party. I voted for Jill Stein, but I wouldn't choose to support the Green Party in a situation like against Claire McCaskill, because I know the Green Party has no chance of winning. And that's by design. It's a staged, rigged game. And again, if you support the Green Party, you understand that. And you know that that's what the whole point of the Green Party is to break through this rigged system and give the people another choice that better represents their values. And that's great. That's all well and good. And I'd love to see that grow and become a viable option. Currently, it's not. As far as, big states, powerful, important states go, upper levels of government, and definitely including the presidency, Green Party is out of the question, just like Libertarian Party is. And, a lot of people say Bernie should split off and start the People's Party or whatever, or go green, start the People's Party, whatever he does, go independent even. And if anybody had a good shot, I'll give you, it's Bernie Sanders. I'll give that to you. So yeah, he would have a good shot if he ran independent or third party. But do you remember the 2016 Democratic primary? Now, I remember it like it was yesterday. They destroyed that man and took everything away from him at the end. They took it away from him all through the campaign. He was winning every time, every state. He was dominating her. Even when she would win, she would barely win. He drew much larger crowds, was filling stadiums. She couldn't fill a high school gym without Photoshop. Bernie Sanders should be the Democratic nominee and should be president right now. And I think that should be painfully obvious to everybody. And everybody should be mad as hell at the Democratic Party over that, because they are completely and 100% responsible for Donald Trump in every way. If you don't believe me, you can look up WikiLeaks, who in their 11-year existence has never had to retract a story for being false. Donald Trump was elevated by the Democratic Party. They wanted him, Ted Cruz, and Ben Carson to be elevated, given free airtime and free publicity so that they could run against him, because they felt that they were Pied Piper candidates, was exactly what they said, that they could easily beat. So the media, of course, focused on the most interesting of the three, Ted Cruz's cardboard box. The most interesting thing about him is that he may be the son of Sam, not the son of Sam, something, fuck. Which serial killer do people think that Ted Cruz is? Someone tell me. Zodiac, isn't it? No. Who is it? Anyways, he looks like a drawing of a serial killer, the sketch, anyway. But I would never vote shame somebody, was the point of what I'm saying, for voting for anybody. I want you to participate. Not enough people participate. People want to say that voting don't work, that you can't vote your way out of a rigged system, that voting is not the way to get out of this. We'll never get out of this by voting. You got to be stupid if you think you're going to vote your way out. When you know it's rigged, why do you care? I care because the system controls us. That's the system that's in place. It is what it is. So the way to beat that system is to get everyone participating. Our unity and our numbers are our strength in that system. So why do I want more people to vote? Because I want us to unify, and I want us to come together on important issues, and I want us to progress. I want to see society move forward. And right now, voting is our only path towards doing that, unless we're going to have an armed revolution, which I seriously doubt we're going to do. I know I couldn't run to this corner store down the street here without being completely out of breath. I really don't think we're taking on the U.S. military. So we need to vote. You want to tell me voting doesn't work? I want to tell you not enough people fucking vote. And that's by design. The elite and the powerful don't want an informed, voting and participating population. They like it just the way it is, with everybody asleep and nobody really giving a shit or paying attention. That's what they want. They're right in your face about it. That's one of the rules of the Illuminati. That's one of the rules that they live by. They have a set of rules. And one of them is they have to tell you their plan. You want to know why crazy conspiracy theorists know what we know? Because they want us to. These people that worship Moloch and gather at Bohemian Grove and believe in demons, these Luciferians that run our world, they want me to tell you this stuff in small doses. They want you to think I'm crazy, though. They want you to think that this is made of tinfoil. Now, I may be crazy, but I'm not lying about the stuff that I talk about. Anything that I tell you on this show, you can look up. If I get into something crazy, I'll tell you first, I'm not that sure about this. But if I say I'm positive about it, or I say I'm pretty sure about it, You can probably Google it and find out I'm right. Just don't use Snopes. So did Megyn Kelly get fired or not? The way I read it, I've read it that she got fired, and I've also read it that she's just fired from the Today Show, but she still got her contract with NBC. I don't know which is true. But she said that it's okay to wear blackface on Halloween. And everybody's shocked and surprised. You hired her from Fox. You know, you hired her for her sensationalism, and then you're disappointed when she says something sensationalist. That's ridiculous. It's all a show. They're not mad at her. They're catering to a bunch of people writing hate letters. And they probably wanted to get rid of her in that role already. She probably just didn't get along with somebody else on the show. It probably had nothing to do with her blackface remark. That was just the thing that gave them an excuse to do it. Just like when shutting down Roseanne. The way they did Roseanne. Same thing. I think they wanted to get rid of Roseanne. They didn't like her. She was too controlling, wanted to have too much input over the show, and they figured they could do the show without her like they're doing now. So they wanted rid of her. They finally got an excuse with that stupid tweet. You know, she shouldn't have sent the tweet. There's no defending the tweet. You shouldn't ever compare, a black woman to a monkey. But she claims she was comparing her to the character in the movie. Now, I'm not a big enough Planet of the Apes fan. She claims it's her favorite movie. So I don't really know a lot about that character. And I don't know if she actually compares to the woman that Roseanne was talking about in real life. But still, she's playing as dressed as a monkey. I would never have, you would think you would, common sense, know not to tweet that. But she didn't. And they got rid of her from her show. And if you don't know how they did it, yes. I don't know how to say your name and I don't want to butcher it. Nissa Ray. She spoke out about the Illuminati. Roseanne was very outspoken about that. Roseanne is a sweet lady. She may have said that may have been a racist tweet, or she may be telling the truth. Maybe she really didn't mean it in a racist way. Who knows? She also says she was on Ambien, and Ambien does make people do weird stuff. They downplay it, but it does. It makes people sleepwalk, people go into trances, all kinds of things. And you do things while you're in these trances that you have no memory of. You think you're sleeping. Gary says about Megyn Kelly, what do they think when they brought her from Fox? Yeah, exactly. She's way out from left field. And she does sensational type stuff, which, like the Alex Jones interview. She likes to do that kind of stuff. Robert says he didn't know that Valerie was black until that. Maybe Roseanne didn't either. I think that's what she claims. She was on Joe Rogan talking about the whole incident, and I think she even claims that she didn't know the woman was black. But, what you got, like a 40% chance, 30% chance that she is? I don't know. It's still just a poorly chosen tweet, of course. But it may not have had hate behind it, is the point. It's just, it was able to be construed that way. And they leaped on her to shut her up. And, as Nissa says, and Jeff's talking about it too, she was very outspoken about the Illuminati and the elite and these fuckers around that Moloch, their owl, that they worship. It's funny people tell you that's crazy. That's real. That picture you just saw, that's a real picture that Alex Jones got of a ceremony at Bohemian Grove called the Cremation of Care, where the elite gather to worship a giant owl statue named Moloch, who they believe absolves them of everything, all the wrongdoing they've done to us lesser people over the course of the last year. He takes their guilt away. You don't have to believe it. They do. The people that have power over you, that run your life, they believe it. So it doesn't matter if you believe it. Yeah, like exactly like Jeff says, Roseanne had a lot of powerful things to say that some don't want the public to hear. Yeah, like I said, they want the truth out there because that's one of their requirements. They have to tell you the truth. They have to tell you their plan. They have to tell us Goyim, that's what they call us lessers. They have to tell us their plan. So they put it right out there for us. Um, they even have monuments to their plan, like the Georgia Guidestones. You know, and one of the main goals on the Georgia Guidestones is to kill off almost 8 billion of us. They think there's too many people. And these people are working on this plan as we speak. And if we don't rise up together as a unified population and put a stop to it, they will complete their plan. They're not waiting for our consent to participate or to continue with their plan. They're well into their plan. You know, they're in World War III already. We are currently in World War III. When the history books are written and they look back upon it, they will acknowledge that World War III was an extremely long, short-fought war that was fought gradually. We're currently bombing, what, 8 countries at the moment? We have bases all over the Middle East. They're beating the war drums for Iran right now. We have a military-based economy. You know, how is anybody surprised by any of this? The military-industrial complex has got a grip on our country. And what president was it that warned everybody? Famous speech about the hold the military-industrial complex had over our country. And I believe he was even responsible for it. And he regretted that was his biggest mistake of his presidency, was allowing this, the control over the agenda by the military-industrial complex. But I've talked about it, this agenda in the Middle East that we're doing that started with 9/11, the false flag operation of 9/11, which we could get into too. If you guys are interested in talking about that, it's my favorite conspiracy. I can always talk about 9/11. But all of this started in the Middle East, started with 9/11. That was a false flag, and they already had the whole plan in motion. You can look up General Wesley Clark talking about the whole plan for everything that's going on in the Middle East or has gone on since 9/11 in the Middle East, way back in 2001. 2002 maybe. In the interview with Democracy Now!, he talks about right after 9/11, he was in the Pentagon, you know, and a general calls him in and shows him this plan to go to war with 7 countries in 5 years. Now, they've taken a little more time with it than 5 years. You have to kind of wonder, is that because people are waking up? Are they having to slow down their plan? Why didn't it take just 5 years? Eisenhower, Nissa says. I hope I'm getting your name right, because now I've said it like 5 times, and I hate to be butchering it. But yeah, Eisenhower warned us about the grip that the military industrial. Kennedy tried to warn the people too. There is a cabal that runs our world, and they have power and control over everything. And everyone that's ever tried to tell you that, or everyone that's ever tried to wake up the people and wake up the public, has been killed for it. You could sit there and list off names all day. You spread the truth and you try to wake people up, and you're putting your life at risk. It didn't help Kennedy's case that he was also trying to break the CIA into 1,000 pieces, was the way he put it. He wanted to disband the CIA, who probably had a very large role in killing him. Let's see. We got some people here. Go ahead and comment anything you want to talk about. We can talk about anything you guys want, and we can go as long as you guys want. So if you're interested in the show, go ahead and comment, give us stuff to talk about. I've talked about some stuff tonight. We talked about the MAGA bomber and how I believe that's a psyop for those of you just joining us. I'm not saying it didn't happen. Don't get me wrong. People like to say, whenever you say false flag or psyop, they're like, oh, you're crazy. You're saying it didn't happen. No, I'm saying it didn't happen the way they're telling you it happened. That's what I'm saying. I believe these people got packages. I'm just saying it's bullshit. That I don't believe it was an intent to kill any of these people. And I believe Caesar Sack, or however you say his name, is a patsy. And I'm not buying that van traveled across the country delivering bombs. Ooh, John. Paul McCartney died. Has anyone heard have you guys heard the conspiracy theory that Paul McCartney actually died? Was it right before the Sgt. Pepper album? John, do you know what album supposedly Paul was dead right after or right before? But that they replaced Paul with a guy that was in a Beatles cover band that did a really great impression of Paul and looked like Paul. And they replaced him with this other Paul that they called Fall. And you can even look at, there's interviews of them referring to Fall. They didn't call him Paul, fake Paul, Fall. They called him Fall. Anyways, you can hear him in interviews referring to Fall. So who knows if that's true or not, but it's very interesting. And when they show pictures of the guy in the cover band and, the guy walking around as Paul McCartney, they look very similar. Oh, yeah. John says Sgt. Pepper. I thought so. The cover was a funeral for Paul is what the theory entails. And, people say that they've sprinkled hints all along the way. Like there's a hint when they're walking across in that famous shot of them walking across the street. There's a hint in that, like he's not wearing any shoes or something. There's weird hints traveled along the way, but in the height is different. That's another thing about these two Pauls. Paul got shorter or taller. I don't remember which one it is, but look it up. It's very interesting. Look up the conspiracy that Paul McCartney actually died a long time ago and was replaced by a lookalike. Lookalike, sound alike. Nissa says, is Michelle Obama a male? That is another very compelling conspiracy theory that would be worth going into. I'm on the fence with that one. I've seen a lot of evidence that she may be a male. There's some very convincing pictures where you see a bulge in the Ellen video where she's dancing. Now, it could have been a mic pack, but it looked a whole lot like a wiener flopping back and forth. Now, who knows if that's really what it was, but that's what it looked like. It didn't look like a mic pack to me. And there's also a lot of pictures where you see a bulge, a penis bulge. She looks to be well endowed as well. And she has very manly shoulders. Her shoulder span is very manly. Now, I don't know if that thing, Alex Jones says if you can fit two of your head on your shoulder span, that's what a male can fit two of their heads on their shoulders, and a woman only 1.5. Women have narrower shoulders than men. Is basically the point of that. And she has very broad shoulders. She has a lot of masculine features. And it's believable. If they wanted an established candidate, they wanted a Barack Obama, they wanted him to be president. Now, that's the only reason why he was. Hillary Clinton was the other establishment choice, and they went with Barack Obama. Now, if you're going to go with Barack Obama, and let's say Barack Obama wants to be powerful, and he's gay, maybe Michelle was trans all along, or maybe she pretended to be a woman so that they could be a gay couple and he could still be president. I don't know, and I don't fault her for that. But I know Joan Rivers, for one, was very vocal about Michelle Obama being a man and was very vocal saying that we already have a gay president, that Obama's our first gay president, and Michelle is a man. And he's called him Michael in speeches. I think it's happened at least twice that I've seen. He's referred to Michelle as Michael. And there's pictures of him younger with a guy, when he's still dressed as a man, looks just like Michelle. Same height, same features, everything. It's very convincing, the theory. Jeff says Billy Sears. Is that the name of the guy that replaced Paul? Yeah, Steve. Joan Rivers said that Michelle was a man. Is she the one that started it all? But she was very vocal about it. And again, just like I am being now, not in a negative way, more power to her. If she was trans, great. If they came out of the closet and they announced that they were a trans couple the whole time, I'm not mad at you. And it's a compelling conspiracy. Look into that too. Look up, you'll see what I'm talking about. Look up some videos about Michelle Obama being a man, and you'll see some compelling stuff. She very well might be, or might have been a man. I don't want to say that in an ignorant way. I don't want to sound transphobic. Might have at one time been a man and transitioned into a woman. Yeah, Steve says, Joan said everybody knows. She was like flippant about it. She was walking. You can look this up too. Look up Joan Rivers says Michelle Obama was a man. She was walking into some event and she's like, oh, we already have a gay president, honey. Everybody knows Michelle's a man. So she very well might be. And like I say, it may come out eventually. Nissa says they took out Joan for that. They very well might have. That woman was immortal. She had so much plastic in her, she should have lived forever. I love Joan. As a comedian, Joan's one of my favorite. She was such a great lady. Like Betty White. If I was going to have crushes on older women, it would be Joan Rivers and Betty White. Betty White for sure. Betty White is adorable. There's the Georgia Guidestones. You guys familiar with the Georgia Guidestones? Nissa says a bunch of them in Hollywood are switcheroos. People say that George Clooney's wife is trans. And that's interesting as well. That also explains a lot about him being single and such a playboy for so long. Maybe he was low-key gay too. Because people say, and his wife is very manly looking. For that matter, Tom Brady's wife is very masculine. Jeff says, why is it you never see Michelle in shorts or a tight bikini? And he's right. You never do. You never do. You see Obama in regular bathing suits showing off his physique, but you don't ever see Michelle showing it off. Nissa says fake pregnancies. I think Beyonce's have been fake. They have people have their babies for them. It's all theater. It's all a show. And they're part of it. The Illuminati is involved in the entertainment industry. And a lot of them even tell you, like, you know, they'll be open and honest about it in their songs that they sold their soul to get where they are. It's not just everybody saying something to be cool. You literally do sell your soul and get on board with this agenda and become a deliverer of this agenda. Music is magical. Music casts a spell over people, and it's used that way. Nissa says Beyonce big time. Yeah, Beyonce and Jay-Z, I think, are a fake couple. I think that there is a good video, look this up, of Beyonce having an MK Ultra zone out. I think Jay-Z, Beyonce's MK Ultra handler. Jay-Z is very high up in the Illuminati. And I believe that Beyonce is his trophy wife / Illuminati. She's mind controlled. Look it up. Look up Beyonce. You can watch videos of her going into a trance. There's one where she's at a Lakers game, and it's very clearly a hypnotic trance. She is tranced out. But yeah, I believed that for a long time. But I believe Jay-Z is very involved in the Illuminati. The Illuminati is real. You know, whether or not they call themselves the Illuminati, I don't care. When I say that, you know who I'm talking about. That's why I say it. I don't like to get caught up in labels. Nissa says the Kardashians too. The Kardashians are completely fake. And I think that that Kanye is an MK Ultra victim. And I think his programming has broken. Sometimes that happens. Britney Spears, I believe, was an MK Ultra victim. MK Ultra mind control. And Lindsay Lohan is another that I think was. And Amanda Bynes. A lot of these people that you see go crazy are they're probably subjected to mind control and have slipped their programming. Steve says, I saw a video of Bob Dylan saying he sold his soul to the devil. I've seen that video. Look that up. That's very interesting. And he's very serious when he says it. He's very serious. Bob Dylan's not joking around when he says that he sold his soul to get where he is. And the interviewer asks him, who did you sell your soul to? And he's like, who do you think I sold it to? And he's very solemn and very serious when he says it. And, you know, I'm seeing a lot of laughy faces. You can think it's funny, but it exists. It's real. These people, these powerful people, they don't get together at Bohemian Grove and worship Moloch because they don't believe that that gives them power and absolution. They believe that's why they do it. They believe it absolves them of their sins. Moloch absolves them of their guilt. Then this such and such demon they pray to for this, or they do ceremonies to for this or that. They believe that it has power. They believe and they get their power from those places. You don't have to believe it. They do. And they have power over you, which makes it matter whether you believe it or not. Nissa says Disney kids. A lot of Disney kids are MK Ultra. Britney was a Disney kid. Christina Aguilera was a Disney kid. I'm pretty sure Amanda Bynes and Lindsay Lohan were Disney kids. I know Lindsay Lohan was. The Parent Trap movies. Yeah, they've been using, they have MK Ultra in what's publicized, what they've put out there and admitted to. They were setting out to make mind control slaves. And there are 5 different kinds of mind control types that they set out to make. One's an assassin, of course. But they also sex slaves, patsies, and celebrities were in there as well. People that they could put into any role, send on missions, different things like that. They wanted to be able to control people absolutely. And one of the best ways is through celebrities, because they have a huge stage, a huge influence, and have a huge influence over people. And the powerful use them. You're probably not approached until you've become you've made a name for yourself and you've gotten yourself out there. You're probably not approached, but once you have, to get that, to reach a certain level of fame, you agree to be part of the big club that George Carlin talked about, that you're not in, that you and I are not part of. You agree to be part of that club and to do what they want you to do, and to have the views and message and do the things that they want you to do, and to react and act when called upon to do what they want you to do. And they also put out their own, like what I think Kanye West is, or Britney Spears, for example, was groomed from a child to be who they are, and probably underwent extreme mind control. Sorry, I got smoke in my eye. Another good person to look up for mind control slips is Katy Perry. Katy Perry was on stage, and in the middle of her performance, she just kind of stops and got all weird. And she was like, I don't feel good. Like, I think she said, Master, I don't feel good, actually. And then just collapsed. Just straight up collapsed. And then there's another video of her where she's sitting there talking, and she straight up says, I don't want to be Katy Perry anymore. That I have to be Katy Perry, that there's powerful people making me be Katy Perry, and that I would much rather be, I forget what her real name is, but I would much rather be that person. And I don't want to be doing this. She straight out said that in an interview. This says Tupac was killed for speaking out against the Illuminati, speaking out about the Illuminati. You know, they want their plan out there because they have to put their plan out there, but they don't want people waking up. Our power is our strength is our unity. And if we ever wake up in mass and come together, there's just too few of them. With our raw numbers, we would win. And this says Wendy Williams. I was going to bring that up. And she was even dressed as a Statue of Liberty when she had her MK Ultra snap. There's another one you can look up of Al Roker from the Today Show. Oh, but yeah, I believe Caesar's probably an MK Ultra patsy for sure. You know, and Robert could be too, an MK Ultra assassin. It's it's weird the timing of these events. Now, I don't know that the synagogue shooter was, but I'm sure that the MAGA bomber was a psyop. And don't allow that to cloud your judgment. These people were in no real danger. Nissa says hand signals. You see them all the time. This is your white power one, right? Everybody's familiar with that, but they always give you this, the triangle. Jay-Z loves to do that, but you'll see all kinds of power people do this. You can do the one eye. How many celebrities you seen taking a picture like this? Every one of them? Every big celebrity? They got to put it out there in front of you. They tell you about it. They announce it. That is part of the rules of the Illuminati, is they have to be upfront with their plan. They've put it all out there for you. The truth, that's what when that phrase, the truth is out there, that is such a great phrase because it's so damn true. The truth is out there. It's all out there. It's right there. They do it all right in front of your face. And when we're silent about it, that's when we give our consent. That's another rule of the Illuminati. We have to give consent, and our silence counts as consent. So they put their plan out there. We don't rise up and do anything about it. We consented. Jeff says Michelle Obama famously did the triangle on Time magazine. You see the triangle a lot. Angela Merkel loves to do the triangle. Trump does the triangle. Obama liked to do the triangle a lot. Another one Obama liked to do was, hold on, I got to let you see what I'm doing, was this. Obama liked to do that a lot. Now that one is interesting, especially that someone as classy and suave and smooth as Obama would be giving you the only other thing that this is known for, besides the demonic symbol that it actually is rock and roll music, who adopted it because it's the demonic symbol. Nissa says, no way. I don't know what you're saying no way to. But Nissa says Billionaires Club. Yeah. They got a lot of different clubs. They got the Bohemian Grove. They got the Bilderberg Group. They got Council on Foreign Relations, UN. The UN is basically the world government already in place, ready to take over. They've already got their plan in motion and really in place. The last thing to do is take down America. It's our pesky freedoms that get in the way of the rest of their plan. They will destroy America as we know it if we don't do something about it. And I don't think we have that much time. And that's why there needs to be a mass awakening. We need to wake the masses, and it's on us to do it. It's on the wake to wake people up. It's on the woke, rather, to wake people up. It's our responsibility, whether you like it or not. If you want to see any progress in the world, we need to wake people up. So as fun as it is to mock people for being brainwashed and being sheep, we need to stop doing that. And we need to start figuring out how to approach these people, how to get through to your average mass media watching American voter and get through to them and help them see the truth. And we need to figure out how to get all these lazy, apathetic people that don't vote to participate, to show them how important it is to actually get out there and participate in democracy so that we see progress in society instead of everything sitting at a dead standstill and us getting more and more screwed as every election cycle goes past us, more and more fucked by the elite and the establishment because we don't stand up, we don't pay attention, and we don't come together and fight back. And I'm sick of seeing it. So we need to get people to stop being lazy and apathetic and can't be bothered to vote. We need to get them to go out and vote. And we need to inform the rest of the people, the ones that do vote, but watch mainstream media and believe Rachel Maddow or Bill O'Reilly, whoever they watch, whatever their flavor of media is, whether they like right wing or left wing, they believe all that propaganda that the establishment feeds them and they think it's real news. We need to remember that. Why wouldn't they think it's real news? When you turned on the news, when, my grandfather's day, it was news. There were real journalists and there was real news. There was really a fourth wall of our society that held everyone else accountable. But that has been taken over. It's, as far as on record, started with Operation Mockingbird. But at this point, it's completely legal to propagate. I've been talking so long. Propagandize the American people. It's completely legal. Obama made that legal. But they were doing it long before he made it legal. But they're right out in the open with it. No one paid attention. I bet your average person doesn't know that Obama made it legal to propagandize the American people. Now, that was news. It was out there. It was a story. I know it. But your average person doesn't know it. Jeff says many voters don't even watch the news, and he's right. That's another thing. We need to get people to stop they're lazy and apathetic too. You need to inform yourself on the issues. It is your responsibility. And if you're not doing that, you're not doing your response. You shouldn't complain or bitch ever. You're completely responsible for why things are the way they are because you're too lazy to be bothered to inform yourself. But we got to remember on the same time, you want to be mad at these people, but on the same time, we have to convert these people into voters, into people that participate. So we have to look at why they're apathetic, why they're lazy about the system, why they don't care. And you got to admit, there's a lot of reasons to be apathetic and to be disenfranchised by our election system. There's a lot of reasons. And we need to address those, but we need to get people to understand that we can't address those if we don't unify and vote. It's really simple. That's what's in place. Either that or take up arms. What are we going to do? If you're one of those people that want to tell me voting will never work, you're so stupid. You think you're going to vote your way out of a rigged system. What are we going to do then? We just going to sit around on Facebook and complain? Or are we going to fight back? What are we going to do? I'm all up for any suggestion, of what they think we should do. But I hear that all the time. They'll laugh. Voting won't do anything. Voting will never change anything. Not done the way it's done currently. No, it won't. That's why I say we need a great awakening. We need to wake people up. We need to get people to understand that what's being passed off as news is propaganda. And that if you want a real truth, you have to seek it out and inform yourself. We have to help inform them to what's really going on. And we have to get these people that don't even care to care. As many as we can. Now, you're not going to be able to wake everybody up and you're not going to be able to get everybody to participate. But as many as you can, that's all we can do. And it's on us to do it. Those of us who are woke to spread the truth. Because they're never going to spread it. They like it just the way it is. With everybody's head buried in the fucking sand. Well, yeah, Steve says the fourth estate no longer exists. No, journalism is completely compromised. As far as mainstream media goes, journalism in this country is completely compromised and complete bullshit propaganda. I was doing so good talking for so long, and now I'm stumbling all over my words, every sentence. All right. Anybody else got anything they want to talk about? We've got 8 people here. We can go for a little while longer, especially if you'll let me go get a cigarette. If you let me go in the living room and bum a cigarette off Babel's. I don't want to make you wait while I go get a cigarette. I'm not being serious. I can wait. But let me know what you want to talk about if you guys want to talk about anything else. Otherwise, we'll probably wrap up pretty soon. But like I said, we can go longer. I'm totally up for going longer. Last time I was on, the last show I did, I was trying to get into a story. Elon Musk has put, Robert says he needed a 2-minute break. You guys, can I go get a cigarette? I'm going to go get a cigarette. I will be right back. Oh my God, I only lost one person. You guys are so super cool. Thanks for letting me do that. Now I got this, and this will give me fuel to keep going. We can keep talking about conspiracies now. So, Elon Musk. Last time I got cut off, I was talking about Elon Musk. He put out another video basically fear-mongering for AI. He is terrified of AI. If you listen to Elon Musk talk, you would think that we are Terminator 2 is heading right now, or what, 3, when Skynet goes online, is getting ready to happen. And he don't paint a pretty picture. He says humanity is doomed when AI rolls out. That our only hope of surviving is to merge with the machines. That they will see us as unnecessary and they will kill us. That Terminator will literally happen in real life. And either he's fear-mongering and he's just into fear porn and that's what he wants to do now, or he knows something that we don't know. And he's very terrified of it. Steve says, what about that van? He's talking about Caesar Sayak's van, the MAGA bomber. Look up pictures of that van and then tell me that you believe that van drove all around the country delivering 14 bombs. By hand, mind you, these bombs weren't postmarked. They didn't go through the mail. So he delivered 14 bombs in that van. That van is covered. You think I'm exaggerating? I'm not exaggerating. And it's the windows that are covered. Now, every window on this van is covered with right-wing propaganda. And he doesn't get pulled over. Every window on his damn van is stickers, covered in stickers. And he doesn't get pulled over. He's able to take that van all across the country delivering bombs like a happy, crazy person. I'm not buying it at all. I think it's all bullshit. It reeks of bullshit. It's a psyop. That is complete horseshit. Now, the synagogue shooting, that could just have been a crazy person, crazy hateful person that went in and decided to kill a lot of people. I find it odd that they took him alive. I don't know how you're in a, couple hour shootout with police. I was following it on the live feeds, and they take you alive. They said he was shot multiple times, but I don't see why or how they ended up taking this man alive. But I'll give you 5 guesses what color he is. You won't need them, but I'll give you 5. But anyways, Steve says the robots are coming. Oh, yeah, they are. They even got robots that flip burgers. You seen that? They got robots that can flip burgers. They're already putting machines in to get you to place your own orders. You already make your own drinks. Pretty soon they'll have you topping your own sandwich and a robot flipping your burger. That's why I don't use self-checkout. I don't use kiosks at McDonald's. That's the only way to fight back against those things, is by not supporting them and not using them. You can't hate on them and then go self-checkout because it's more convenient. That's not the way it works. You only kill off stuff like that by ignoring it and not supporting it and getting other people to not support it. And, if it comes to shaming people, then it comes to shaming people. They got stores. Amazon has stores where there's no cashiers at all. There's no employees in the store. It's all cameras and computers. And you pick out what you want and you walk out the door and it charges you for it. There's no people working there. Oh, everybody thinks it's so cool, This is so neat. No, it's not. Who the fuck's going to shop at the stores when the stores are all automated? Who's going to be able to afford to shop there? Where are the people going to work to support the economy? That's the way capitalism works. Am I right or wrong? So why are we crushing the spending potential of the population in a system where you need people to be able to buy shit that they don't need? Think about it. Doesn't make much sense. You need people to be able to afford to buy your shit so that you can make money. But they don't give a shit that people make poverty starvation wages. Seems like they're talking out both sides of their mouth a lot, doesn't it? All right, we got 8 people here. This is Conspiracy Theories and Chill, and you guys participation show. So, I mean, this is a participation show. So go ahead and comment anything you want to talk about, any conspiracies at all. We'll go at least till 7:30. We'll go at least another 7-10 minutes. We may go even longer. If you guys are talking, I'm game. We can hang out. As long as you guys are interested, we'll keep going. Steve says people are no longer needed, and he's right. And Elon Musk is terrified of it. And he's a very smart man, a very rich man, and in a position where I am sure he knows things I don't know. So him being so concerned with the rise of AI and the imminent threat of AI makes me believe I need to be concerned, and I need to educate myself on AI and what is actually in store for us, because he's painting a picture very much like Terminator, very much like Skynet. It's exactly what he's talking about. And he's not kidding. The man is dead serious. He is terrified of this, and he believes AI will destroy humanity, and that our only chance is to merge with the machines, to become one with technology. And of course, they've got that ready to go too. All you gotta do is be willing to have some insert and some chips inserted into you here and there, and you can be one with the Internet of Things. That's where it's going. And people will do it. They'll go along with it because they'll paint it in a, so convenient. You can just scan your Verichip and get your groceries. You don't have to carry a wallet. Yeah, well, what about when they shut that thing off? When they decide you're an enemy of the state and turn you off, cut you off from everything? Or what about when they're tracking you with it? Is it still cool now that they've shut it off and they know where you're at? Nissa says computers are the devil. It's definitely a demon and a monster that has gotten out of control. And especially if you listen to people like Elon Musk, who I tend to believe is telling me the truth. It is out of control. They made what? They made that language simulator. What was that? Google that made that? And it was thinking for itself inside of a couple hours and already starting to question things, and they had to shut it down. It started to go crazy. It lost its mind, so to speak. Yeah. Think about humanity's history, and think about if you're a cold calculating machine and you're looking at the human race and judging it based off our history. Are we worth saving? If you're a cold calculating computer and you're using no feeling or emotion, the human race is a plague. And they believe, Elon Musk and others believe, that AI will wipe us out. Nissa says they're tracking us right now. They absolutely are. Everyone carries around these phones. They're tracking you through your phone. They can find you, anybody with their cell phones. They can find you. You've inhaled enough heavy metals that you're basically a walking antenna. And she says Alexa in your homes. Yeah. A long time ago, they were, George Orwell was afraid that Big Brother would be listening. He didn't know we'd willingly put Big Brother in our house so it could listen to us all the time, so that we could ask it every once in a while, hey, Alexa, how do I make pancakes? What's a good pancake recipe? It's listening to you all the time. It's so ridiculous when you think about the things that we'll put up with or encourage and use just for convenience. I believe George Orwell was some kind of prophet. He had to have been either a time traveler or he could see the future, because 1984 is supposed to be a fiction novel, and it is closely becoming our reality. We are not that far away from living in the book 1984. And we're not doing anything about it. And those of us that are awake need to stop just watching the train heading for the cliff. We know it's going to hit. We're just watching it. We need to get out there and start wake people up. And we need to realize that we're going to have to be understanding and come to their level to do that. So we need to do it, but we need to do it smart. When we talk to these people, we need to talk to them on their level, and keep in mind that they are heavily brainwashed and indoctrinated, and they don't know that. So you got to come at them gently. You're going to have to ease them into the truth. Take them to my YouTube channel, Me on Things and Stuff. It's a good place to start. I'll ease them in. Don't worry about it. Have them watch a Conspiracy Theories and Chill. Invite them to the show. I'll drop some truth on them. You know I will. Yeah, NISA says spraying us with aluminum and barium, all kinds of things. We're walking antennas. We are physically part of the new 5G grid that they're rolling out. Our physical body is an antenna for this 5G. The more I look into 5G, the more demonic it appears, the more nefarious it is, the more dangerous I believe it is. And there's not much we can do about it. There's not much to stop it. The FCC's fully authorized it to roll out without any testing. And this is very dangerous. These frequencies are already used by the military as a weapon. And we're going to use them for our cell phones. So we can have faster phones. So that you can download a video 100 times faster. And what's 100 times when you're talking about the difference between a second and half a second? It doesn't even matter. It's fast enough right now. We don't need this. But we'll put up with anything. We're going to put up with 2,000% more radiation because you need 300,000 more towers. 300,000 cell phone towers have to go up for 5G across this country. 300,000. Going to subject ourselves to 2,000% more radiation, because these 4G you're already subjecting yourself to radiation. People, you should know that if you don't know that. But you're going to be subjected to 2,000% more just to have fancier cell phones and an Internet of Things that they're going to want you to plug yourself into. NISA says 9/11 was a hologram. Are you talking about the fake planes theory? Now, I've looked into the fake planes theory, and there's a lot there, especially the way those planes entered the building. But I believe there were planes that hit those buildings. I just don't believe they're the ones. They weren't the commercial jets that took off. They weren't those. They were switched, and those were military drones that hit the buildings. That's what I believe happened. But I have seen the no planes theory and the hologram theory. And not that I don't believe that technology like that exists. Technology like that does exist. Look up Project Bluebeam. Project Bluebeam. Go ahead and give that a Google. They can make a dolphin, a whale, do a SeaWorld type show right in the middle of a gymnasium. And it looks like the damn whale is right there. It feels like the water's hitting you psychologically. It looks so real. And they can do that right now. You can look up a video, I believe it was in Japan or China, where they had a big old, you know, dragon dancing out on the water. You know, Tupac still performs as a hologram. The technology exists. And, you know, that Tupac performing hologram, that's what, 5-10 years behind what they actually have. They can probably make it look like Tupac's actually standing there for real, where he don't glow at all. Nissa says Britain News broadcasted before it happened. Are you talking about Tower 7? Yeah. The BBC reported that Tower 7 had collapsed while it was still behind them in the video. It was still standing. It stood for another like 17 minutes before it actually collapsed. It may have been longer than that. I know it was at least like 15 something minutes. The building was still standing and they had said it collapsed. They're talking about it over and over again, how it's building 7 has come down as well. Still standing right behind her in the video. And you can look at the timestamp. The building 7 doesn't fall for another, whatever, how many minutes, 15 minutes at least. Steve says they can't handle the truth. You're so right. Talking about the sheep, they're going to have to. We can't have that attitude. You see what I mean? We have to wake as many people as we can. We need to start making that our mission. That's what we need to be doing. We need to be spreading the truth. And we need to be easing people into it. I know it's really easy to get frustrated and get mad and want to attack these people or, you know, lose patience with them because so much is at stake. And we understand that and we see what's going on. And like I said, we see the train heading for the cliff. We know we're not going to make it. We're low clearance, we're trying and we're screaming. We need to scream louder, but we need to do it in a better and smarter way. We need to be more strategic about how we try to wake people up. Let's see. We've been going for over an hour. And like I said, we can keep going. If you guys have anything you want to talk about, go ahead and comment. I will look over here at my notes and see if I had anything else I wanted to bring up. I'll do my plugs real quick. Check out my YouTube channel, Me on Things and Stuff. I'm trying to get my subscribers up to 1,000. So if you like this show and you like this kind of stuff, check out my other content over on Me on Things and Stuff on YouTube. I'll put a link to it later on in the description, in the comment thread. And also, if you want to support the show, you can support the you can do so by supporting us on Patreon. And the link to do that is in the description on the video. So you can support and donate to our show and help us get better equipment and, you know, improve the show to grow and become something what I'd like to see it become. So you can do that by supporting us on Patreon. But you can also support me by sharing, liking, commenting. All of that helps us show up in the algorithm higher, and I'll get my message out to more people, which I'd appreciate that too. So share and like and comment and all of that. Any interaction with this post helps it show up better in other people's feeds. So go ahead and do that for me too. And I would really appreciate that. But let's see. Nobody's really said anything. And I think my dinner's getting cold. So if you guys don't mind, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode of Conspiracy Theories and Chill. Thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me and talking about conspiracies. Like I said, if you're coming here late or you're just, you know, you're here now and you still wanted to talk, there was something else you wanted to say, go ahead and comment. I will respond. I'm usually here hanging out, watching to see if there's any comments, and I will respond back to you. So, and it helps me with ideas for future episodes, things you want to see. Like I said, usually I play a video for you guys. So give me some topics to make a video that you'd like to see. But anyways, thank you guys so much for stopping by. I'm Sean. This has been Conspiracy Theories and Chill. I will see you on the next episode. I wish I could tell you when that was going to be, but these have to be sporadic because my job is sporadic. And like most of you, I'm a slave to it. So it dictates my schedule. But thanks again for coming, and we'll see you next time.